Hello, Mr. Tanel Orro. Could you introduce yourself briefly?
Yes, so my name is Tanel Orro. I'm the CEO of Reinvest24. For the past 2 years, we are a real estate crowdfunding platform, mainly focusing on rental real estate projects, where we give our investors the same benefits and security as owning just a small part of that real estate. The idea here is to lower the entry barrier for this type of investments. We just celebrated in May our 2nd anniversary. And within the past couple of months, we have also started to offer development loan projects. And we also opened 2 new markets for our property operations in Latvia and in Moldova.
Okay, this is great. I think the idea of your platform is great. That's why I'm also investing in your platform. Can you tell us more about the genesis of the company? How did this idea come to you or to the creators of the company? Who is owning the company and how did you become CEO?
Yes, so it all started from our CTO, Kirill Tripolsky, who is very experienced in developing platforms. He's been helping to develop one of the top social media and other type of platforms in Estonia in the past 10 years. So he started the project a couple of years ago already, just building the technology solution and the functionalities of the platform until 2017, when they met with one of the real estate agency here in Estonia, Tina KVB, who's currently the main owner of the Reinvest platform. They've been working with high-profile real estate projects in the Baltic states since 2005. And they actually been funding some of the projects in a similar manner as Reinvest offers publicly for everyone, but just offline to private investors, basically. Kirill and me, we participated in our college days in internship program, basically working and living in the United States for 4 months, running our own company. It's more educational purposes and for growing ourselves and facing like different environments and of course a lot of problems as well, as we're like independent there. So this network here in Estonia is very, very tight. So this is how I knew Kirill. And at the time, it was beginning of spring in 2018. I was working in LHV asset management, and Kirill came to me with this idea, and I took a week or 2 to think about it. But in overall, I really liked the idea. As working in the asset management in LHV, I was talking with a lot of retail investors who really didn't understand or trust the stock markets, bonds, all these kind of instruments. They were really keen more into real estate, as it's something that is not going to disappear in 20 years. Of course, the markets time to time can have some corrections, but you can be sure that if you own a big land where you have forest, or if you have some apartments that you're renting out, they're not going to disappear even in like 20-30 years. You can give them to your kids or your grandkids later on in life, and altogether the value of it will grow over the period. But there's one big problem with that. The entry barrier is really high. It takes you need a lot of free capital to purchase a property, or if you're using a bank, then you need to own your own property, as you cannot have 2 bank loans at the same time. It's possible, but very difficult. So lowering the entry barrier and making this investment asset or instrument available for everyone who's just like saving €100 per month on their bank account and not receiving like receiving 0.1% interest and so on, because they don't have more to invest into, to start investing into real estate. It takes a lot of capital. So lowering it sounded a really good idea for me. I really had instantly pretty much a lot of faith into it. And I've been investing into real estate crowdfunding platforms myself previously, but none of them actually gave me an opportunity to invest in actual real estate. It was rather about investing into the companies that were developing the real estate. I never got, my profits were not dependent on the actual value of the property. It was more about the business opportunity. So no one else offered it. I knew that Estonia and the Baltic states have the highest, providing the top performing rental income in the Eurozone. So it's very attractive yield as well, and the risk level is very low. So it's very sustainable throughout market cycles. And I pretty much just quit my job there in LHV and started my position in the Reinvest.
To move here. Great. So when we talk about the Estonian market, about real estate that you mentioned, how was it influenced by the COVID-19 situation? You know, now the trending topic is the pandemics, the lockdown. We're expecting second waves probably of the virus. So how was the market in Estonia, Latvia and Moldova, on which you are operating, affected by the coronavirus?
Well, when it all started back in March, of course it was a very uncertain period. No one really knew. Like, I mean, the modern world has not faced something like this at this scale. So everyone was a bit afraid. Of course, the activities on the market dropped as people were uncertain about the future. They didn't want to make big decisions. They rather postponed those. But I believe that the peak of it was around April, because in May we already see the real estate market already recovery. The prices actually started to increase. In Tallinn, for example, compared to last year May, the prices increased around 10%. The activity, the transactions went up, so people were more confident about the future again, and we can see that trend continuing in June and July. So I would say that in Baltic states, at least, the peak of the crisis has already passed, and for the couple of past 2-3 months, the markets have already been recovering, and the impact actually has not been in overall very big. Of course, some sectors, some type of properties are getting hit a lot more than the others. For example, the short-term rental apartments, you know, where there is still not much tourism. People are still not confident enough to travel around as much as they did last year, for example. So those apartments, they are staying empty, and of course the owners don't want them to just stay empty and pay the utility bills, and you know, some of them have also bank loans to pay. So they put those apartments on the long-term rental market, and the supply is kind of overwhelming. So this sector is definitely getting quite a big hit. But you know, in some other sectors, we maybe saw only like 5% drop in the prices, and now we're already having recovered from that. So it really depends on the sector. But with Moldova, it's a little bit different story. I would say that the peak there was in June, and right now the indicators are a lot better already. They removed the lockdown a bit too early, so the virus kind of continued to grow. But currently, in July there is already a downtrend, so we see that it's already as well recovering. Of course, then there can be second wave or third wave even, but at the same time, we cannot stop the economy and stop our daily activities based on some fears that might never utilize or happen. So of course we need to be conservative, but we still need to continue our work. And I believe that, looking at the numbers in the United States right now, the society is able to live with this virus for some period of time, and we're going to be more experienced already with the second wave. As the first wave was very unexpected and very uncertain period, as no one really knew what it is or what's going to happen in the next 3 or 6 months. So of course the risks are there, but I wouldn't stop everything because of being afraid of that.
Yeah. Okay. How was your business particularly affected by the coronavirus crisis? I mean, did you receive lower interest from investors? Did your revenue fall very much, or was it steady?
Yeah, well, for some period, of course, everything kind of stopped. Like the whole world stopped, and of course, if people were not very confident to invest as well, as they might have been afraid of losing their jobs and rather looking to save up for the future. But like I said, it was pretty short periods. In May, we had a pretty much record month if we're talking about the investments made on the platform. For a month and a half, we took also as a business a hit, but it didn't stop us from continuing our work, and we actually been finding even better interest rates on the market and more established developers. That's why we also wanted to start to offer some development loans to also increase the volume of our projects on the platform that we offer to our investors. So the crises are also providing some opportunities. I think for the P2P industry overall, it was also a kind of a stepping stone or like a test to eliminate some of the fraudulent players that didn't receive deposits anymore and they couldn't do the withdrawals. So it was kind of like a birch on the market, and it was also showing which platform is managing the risks well and which are having not so sustainable business model, for example.
Yeah.
So I would say that it did stop us for a while. It did slow us down for a while, but from there on, from May on, when we started to recover, the business has actually been growing a lot. So it's going even better right now than it was going before the COVID.
Mm-hmm. Okay, great. Why is the registered capital of Reinvest24 only €2,500? Can you assure us that the company is real and not a scam?
Yeah, the €2,500 for a private limited company is pretty much standard in Estonia. You can even see some bigger and more established companies that have €2,500 as capital. This will be increased once we make our first round, when we're going to raise some funds externally. So far, we've been self-funded. But how to assure that you're not being scammed by any platform is a topic that we've been also working on, as any of these platforms in our region that are frauds or scams are damaging the industry overall and damaging the reputation of Baltic states. And also, we saw that damage in the beginning of the year in January, February. Mm-hmm. So we've been trying to actually educate people. We have made some blog posts that are pointing out some of the things to look out for to eliminate at least some of the chances of getting scammed by some platform or any website that offers you some investment opportunities. But I would say that the main thing what to look for if we're talking about real estate crowdfunding platform, the easiest way is to go to the land registry and look at the properties. If the collateral is in place, you will get a lot of information from there. Of course, it's a bit more harder if we talk about consumer loans or business loans. It's a bit it needs a bit more due diligence, which can be a bit more difficult. But for real estate crowdfunding platforms, it's actually quite easy.
Okay, I'll go on to the next question. Do we have any news about the secondary market? Because everyone is asking when we will be launched. We know that this is the end of this summer, but is there any date specific when it will be launched now?
Yes, the secondary market, it's been in a work for a long time now. With the latest progress, we haven't stumbled on any bigger issues anymore. Everything is going smoothly for the couple past months, and we have made a lot of progress. We have solved some issues that we have found while we're testing the whole system. So right now I can be confident that we will be able to launch but within this summer time, but I don't have currently an exact date when it will be. So once we
it's in the
once
test
we
phase.
feel once we feel that all the tests have been successful, we will be announcing the exact date and make like a countdown for that. So currently I can just say that there is a lot of progress and we are very close, and this is something that I really want to get out on the platform this summer, as I feel that it's been holding us back as a platform. It's very important piece in the whole concept of Reinvest24, because if we talk about long-term rental projects, in some cases we don't have exit date. In most cases we don't have exit dates. In some cases the properties we aim to keep them long-term, especially if they have very well secured rental contracts and are providing great cash flow. So, people need some flexibility to exit when they need to. Mm-hmm. And therefore, I think some of the investors are investing smaller amounts as they're not uncertain when or for how long their money will be locked in this property. So I'm really pushing this topic. So this is something that I really want to get out there within this summer, 2020.
So there's some information on your website which is not correct, and this leads to some investors to be not so trustfully in your platform. Like, for example, that you should have at least 100 euro to start, and now you have projects with 50 euro, or that you can exit the investment at any time, which is not possible for now. Do you think to change this information, or any plans?
Yes, the 100 euro question first. We just actually tested with one property. The 50 euro, we limited to 50 euro to see how that works out. If it's something that we should do more, or it's not something that, if you look at our other properties, the minimum is 100 euro. It's just a Moldova shopping center that we're testing to see how does it work out, and how do investors like that if the investments are lower. Altogether, the point with the 100 euro investments is that we will not have any minimums on the secondary market, and the rental income is not enough to, in most cases at least, for most users, the rental income is not enough, the monthly income, to reinvest on the primary market, that is not 100 euros. So they have an option to go to the secondary market, and then that will bring also liquidity to the secondary market, so that the investors who want to exit will be able to do so. But about the exit anytime you want information on the website, the thing is that if I've been thinking about it a lot, but I kind of feel that if we change it now, it will send out a bad signal, like that we're not working on it even, or we're not even actually planning to do it. Mm-hmm. So removing it right now would be also bad. In the frequently asked questions section, we have added that you will be able to do so once the secondary market is launched. Some notes And I really don't want to change it. I rather want to get the secondary market out there. The focus and the efforts are going towards that, and I don't want to make, I don't want to send out signal that we're not actually working on it, and you can't exit anytime you want in the future as well. As this is very important. So yes, we just need some more time to bring the concept together and deliver everything that's stated.
Yeah, that's normal. Okay, thank you for answering this question. My next question is related with my personal investment on your platform. I started just at the beginning of this year, I think on the 9th of January, with an investment in the high yielding office space in Rocca al Mare. So my question is why the rental income is changing during the last months. Although I didn't change my investment, I have 107 shares. So I received 57, then 59, 63 and 66 cents as a rental income. Why is this growing? Which is actually nice, but I wanted to understand what's the idea.
Yeah. So the reason for that is that when the property was not fully funded yet, we received the money. We received the partial rental income from the property. We didn't receive the full income, and we received it once a month.
Mm-hmm.
So in the first months when the property was not fully funded, the income was a bit lower, as it was. The income that we received was partial as well.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't take any fees to compensate that for. We didn't take any management fees to compensate that for our users. So the difference is quite small. For some users, it's actually a bit better than for you. But from now on, from the last payment, this is the full payment. This is the full rental income that we're paying out. So it will stay like that for the next 8 years if you want to continue that long.
Of course, if I'm invested in, I want to continue. Okay, thank you for answering.
So it's actually we have also in the rental contracts the indexation. So starting from 2021 December, the indexation based on the inflation will be increasing the income as well. It's average would be around like 2-3% per year, maybe 2.5%.
It's a good point of assurance for the investors, for sure. My next question, I saw that you shared your Q2 results, at least the outlook, how it's with your company, and I wanted to ask you about the financial report for 2019, when it's gonna be published and how are the results. So roughly, are you profitable for 2019? Could you give us some idea?
Yeah, for 2019, the annual report deadline was extended until end of October in Estonia, most likely because of the COVID situation. And to be honest, I and the whole team has been more busy than ever before within the past few months.
Yeah.
So we currently have 5 properties online for investing from 3 different countries, 2 different types of projects. We're working hard on the secondary market to deliver it as soon as possible. And there are also like 2 other new markets that we have been like very close listing a new property from and expanding even more. We haven't had too much focus on providing all the information and working with accountant to deliver it in July, as I saw some of the other platforms in Estonia did it already. But yes, I will try to take some more time to put those things together with accountant and publish it within, I don't want to give any promises as it's not my biggest focus or my biggest goal at the moment. I have so many other things that I see that are more important for Reinvest. I will put more focus on that in the month of August. So we will get our annual report out as well. And 2019 we were still dependent on the initial funding from our owners. So I can say that we were profitable.
Okay.
But currently I can see that in the past few months that the incomes are more than the expenses are.
Great.
Even though we have been expanding. So it's the 2020 annual report will be looking very nice.
Okay. Great that you are covering your expenses in the last months. I can see this also in the statistics from May, which are really impressive on the P2P market data. So I want to move on to the next question. Do you plan to offer new type of projects? Because now you have 2 type of projects, as you mentioned, and 3 countries. Do you plan to? Actually, you answered already that you plan to expand to other new countries, to 2 new countries. But are there any new projects that you want to offer?
Well, currently we just added the development loans, which are pretty familiar for P2P investors. We've been thinking about different solutions, but we don't want to at the same time make it more difficult to understand for investors. We want to keep it more simple.
Focus, yeah.
Right now, we already have 2 different type of projects that we don't want to confuse the investors with like too many different ways or too many different types that they need to look into. They need to do the research, understand it more better. So currently we want to keep 2 with 2 projects, 2 types that we have. But we're rather looking to expand into new markets to offer more geo diversifications for our users. So we were very close already in the end of June to list the property from new market, but for now we postponed it. But we're working on it. Currently, we actually work with 3 markets that are interesting for us, and we've been working on it for, I would say, around a year already. So it takes a lot of preparations to understand the market, and it doesn't happen overnight. Especially opening a new market, you also need to be cautious and just not jump into something that you don't understand. So we don't want to rush with it, but we are constantly working on it.
Okay. Are there any other updates that you plan on the platform besides the secondary market, or some other plans for the future, for the near future for the platform?
Yeah, one of the things that actually some part of it is already done is the loyalty program. You can see a status under your name. It
yes.
starts with
I'm a happy investor now.
Make a first deposit, make a first investment, then you're a happy investor. Then there are different levels. It's tied to the portfolio size that you have on Reinvest24 platform, and it will give you different type of discounts, different type of advantages, and so on. So this is something that we hope to launch by the end of the year as well on the platform. And from after the secondary market will be launched, we will also start to work towards launching the Auto Invest tool. So you will be able to invest your rental income that you receive monthly automatically. You don't need to pay too much attention to it. And another thing that's on the pipeline as well is the mobile app, where you can check your portfolio. At first, we're not going to allow the investment option from there, but it will basically be more to give you an overview, so you don't need to log into your account every time we send you a notification that we paid out some rental income or so on. So you get your updates to the app to make it even more easier to use and more user friendly.
Great. Any final words for the investors and for the community?
Well, I would say that there is a lot of panic and worrying with regarding to the COVID-19, but there should be, people should be more like look into where they actually invest and understand where they invest their money into. If we're talking about real estate, then market, there can be some small corrections, even if we have like second or third wave, but altogether the value will not disappear. You will not lose your capital because of that. Mm-hmm. It's a primary need of humans and business to function, and people still need, at the end of the day, people still need a place to call home. So I would say it's the safest P2P investment you can choose. If it's if the investment is well backed with collateral, then even if the worst case scenario is you still have the real estate that still has the value. Yeah, for a rental projects, it can be, the value can drop for some while, but it doesn't mean that you lost your capital. It still generates you income. Mm-hmm. And if you just wait, then the market will eventually recover and grow even. If we look what the central banks are doing right now, then the Federal Reserve is printing $4 trillion, and European Central Bank is printing 750 billion. Altogether, this will mean inflation. Mm-hmm. And inflation will mean that the value of real estate compared to euros or dollars will increase, right? So I would say that the real estate is something that's sustainable, and it's a great choice, and in the long run it can be compatible with higher risk instruments where you can actually lose all your capital that you invest.
Yes. Okay, thank you very much for this interview. I hope that it will be interesting for our viewers, and it will be helpful for them deciding whether to invest on real estate and on Reinvest24 or not. Thank you very much once again.